Folashade Olanroye agrees with you. She said, the unfortunate thing is that the opposition leaders supported his policy. I have never suffered like what I went through during my holiday in Nigeria in my entire life. That's Folashade there. Sorry about that. Fabian Akaise says, President Bola Tinubu must set up a committee to investigate the administration of PMB. Emefiele was acting on the orders of PMB and he must not go down alone. It would be fair for him to be, it wouldn't be fair for him to be prosecuted only. Halit Gashi says, Emefiele advised Buhari on what to do. He should go down alone. Buhari said it was the advice he got. Bokola Ayobami says, to those people who think it's personal vendetta, it is absolute rubbish. He needs to explain and give all information as to why he handled the fiscal policy, the monetary policy. Raymond Osaz is asking a question from you, saying, good evening, sir. Don't you think Mr. President should also go after former President Buhari, the master? And Ebenezer Obey says, Emefiele, that's Felix Akiode, says, Emefiele should have read the handwriting on the wall and correct. I couldn't get that. It was the cabal's boy. So the last one I'll be reading says, Bukola Ayobami says, I think we all forgot that President Tinubu is an accountant and specializes as an auditor. President Tinubu is the most intelligent technocrat we have ever had or we've ever seen. May God bless him and more. So the question I'll be asking, or before I ask my last question, the advocacy that the current administration should also not, make Emefiele pay for, the ills, the wrongs, the policy, did to Nigerians. That, what about the executives at that time? For instance, the president. Do you think it's in order that the president is also gone after?
When the presidency replied that nobody told the CBN governor not to obey the Supreme Court, what was Emefiele's response? Did he tell his countrymen that, look, it was the president that told me not to obey the Supreme Court? Why would an ordinary CBN governor refuse to obey the decision of the highest court in the land? Why? What was he thinking? What was he thinking of himself? The president threw him under the bus. And when he said that, I said, look, Mr. President, if anybody asks Mr. President, he's going to say that this advice came from the CBN governor. He's going to say it came from the CBN governor, because the CBN governor, if he didn't want that policy, he could have told the president, look, we have obstacles to the success of this policy. This policy will really make the poor people suffer, make small businesses suffer. But he didn't do that. He kept saying, no, this thing must go on, and there's no going back. This and that. Look at what he said after he met the president in Daura. So Yorubas will say, no, he didn't realize that, look, when push comes to shove, he will look back and he will see only himself standing. All the people who used to praise him, including some ethically deceased journalists who were praising, who are standing by him, today they will not want to be mentioned in the same sentence with Emefiele. All those journalists who are taking money from him and saying that they stood by him, all of those civil society people, for the first time, we saw a CBN governor bribing civil society people to do rallies for him, to come up and praise him. And of course, the opposition. Look at the flip-flop from Atiku. Today, Atiku supported the Naira redesign. When he saw that this thing was inflicting pain on our people, he came out to condemn it. all because they thought it will help them to win the election. People had made up their minds before the elections as per who to vote for. I told them on journalist hangout that look, Nigerians have made up their minds on who to vote for. So Emefiele has to go down alone. I know that in the fullness of time, some people in the former administration would have to answer some questions. No doubt about it. That has to happen at some point. But to say that President Buhari should also be arrested, I mean, it's ridiculous. The CBN governor had independence. He could have said, no, this will not work, sir. And he could have resigned. Why must you stay on? Is it by force? Is it your family business? So he had the opportunity to say, I cannot do this, sir, because this will make our people suffer. This will not work, sir. In any case, his arrest was not really based on the Naira redesign. I have spoken before about why the DSS declared him wanted that and he ran away to the Caribbean islands. So let's not spend too much time on the Naira redesign. Nobody will simply put him on trial because of the Naira redesign, except if fraud, monumental fraud, is discovered to have happened in the course of the Naira redesign. And I think that if they do a thorough investigation, they are going to discover that because he lied to the president, he lied to himself about the volume of new Naira notes that were printed. We saw clearly that we didn't have enough. And today, even when both currencies are working, are being used together, you can see that there is a preponderance of the old notes. People only are able to see very few of the new notes. That's to tell you, he didn't print enough. He betrayed his countrymen and women. He lied to them that they had printed enough, that we had enough. They didn't have enough.